guys, so today I am going to be doing my first video anime review. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out, quite frankly. Today I am going to be reviewing Hitoribocchi, one of the cutest shows from the spring 2019 season. Hitoribocchi then is a slice of life animation that focuses on a middle school student called Hitoribocchi. Now, she has moved up to middle school and she has gone to a separate middle school to her best friend, Kai. The initial trouble is Kai was not only her best friend, she was basically her only friend. So Bocchi now has to find the courage, find the ability to make new friends at her middle school without the help of Kai. Kai has basically said she won't be her friend until she's friends with the entire of her new class. And so it's a little bit of a challenge for Bocchi, let's say. Luckily for Bocchi, she does meet some friends, and basically the show is just her and her friends in middle school. It's basically a slice of life. Seriously, this is probably the most slice of life show I've seen in a while. I think it is quite true to life in a way. I suppose many of us have gone to a school or somewhere where we've not known anyone, and so we've had that slight awkwardness at the beginning. I think it is a little bit true to life in that sense. However, Bocchi, bless her, suffers from a lot of social anxiety, and that in itself is something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. Bocchi's social anxiety means that she faints a lot, she is sick a lot, and a lot of this is exaggerated for the sake of comedy, but I do think that this is a way in a step direction. Like, you don't really see too many shows exploring any sort of social anxiety. Sure, we had Watamote, for example, a few years ago, but I do think this is a more positive show, at least. Even if it does explore the themes of social anxiety, which could be quite a dark subject for some people, Hitoribocchi is definitely a more positive, fun show in that respect, compared to the likes of Watamote, for example. Hitoribocchi is also a yonkoma manga, which I thought would mean that instead of a full-length show like we would get maybe a short-form show, because yonkoma, short-form, they kind of go hand in hand. However, we did get a full-length, and it did work really, really well, to the point where I can kind of compare Hitoribocchi to the likes of Kino and Mosaic. They're both yonkoma manga, but they work so well as a full-length show. And even then, there are lots of similarities between the two, to the point where I would say if you like Kino and Mosaic, you would probably like Hitoribocchi. Both of them have very light-hearted comedy, and this is what brings Hitoribocchi to the top level, to the quality that it's at, is its light-hearted comedy. Now, some of this can be quite repetitive. Some of it is very much exaggerated, such as Bocchi's vomiting and fainting. That itself is a joke in the show, and it is repeated quite a lot. But once you step past the repetitiveness, once you step past the exaggeration of certain things that maybe shouldn't be exaggerated on, at its core, it is just a wholesome anime. A lot of people also used this show when it was airing to cheer themselves up after watching an episode of Fruits Basket, myself included. So there is obviously, it's like, Hitoribocchi is like the ray of sunshine of the spring 2019 anime season. You just can't help but smile at it. The animation in Hitoribocchi was surprisingly quite nice. Now, the studio behind it is C2C, who was also responsible for the likes of Suka Suka and also for the likes of Haruko no Receive, but they're not really a well-known studio still even now. I'm glad to see that C2C are maintaining their animation quality, and I think the animation is done in a way which emphasizes the innocence of the show. It's just brightly coloured, it suits the theme of the show, the age of the characters really well. I don't think I could find any faults with the actual animation. Now, what I like personally is the characters themselves. I don't think the show could be as good as it is without the characters being as good as they are. What we see in Hitoribocchi is the evolution of every single character we see. So we see Bocchi becoming more confident, slowly but surely meeting new friends as we go along. We see Aru, who is one of the class monitors. She becomes more open about her clumsy side, and she begins to sort of embrace it, but is also still quite protective over it. We see Nako come out of her shell a little bit as well. She is basically saying that friends are bad, we shouldn't have friends, we have to be independent. But towards the end of the series, we do see her come out of her shell a little bit as well, which is lovely to see, because I do actually think that Kako could be quite a good friend for Bocchi. And we also see Sokka develop her ninja abilities as well. Now, this character, Sokka, is a character I don't particularly like, admittedly. She came to Japan and she wants to learn to become a ninja. It's a storyline that I don't personally find amusing or endearing, but I'm sure people out there do, because it is, I have seen the same storyline happen in other shows. That is probably the one fault I could find regarding the characters. Whilst we're speaking about the characters, I will bring to light what I personally love hearing about as a linguist. I love the characters' names themselves. They all have a meaning from the Japanese language. So Hitoribocchi, for example, is a pun on the Japanese phrase all alone. And then we also have the other characters who follow similar suit. I do believe that the show, in theory, could be a little bit problematic for some viewers. I think with Hitoribocchi moving to a new school and Kai, her childhood friend, just completely ignoring her until she completes this challenge, it's kind of isolating Bocchi in a way. Not even in a way, it is isolating Bocchi. She doesn't have a support system she can go to or anything like that. So I think people could find themselves in a similar position in the past maybe, and they probably wouldn't like to remember that past of them. So I can kind of see why people wouldn't like the show for various different reasons, but that's probably the most problematic reason. But all in all, I do find that Hitoribocchi is a really heartwarming show. It was, like I said, one of the shows that I would watch after Fruits Basket, for example. Fruits Basket made me sad, Hitoribocchi made me happy. It was just one of those counteracting things that I just ended up watching, and I ended up loving it. And I wouldn't be surprised if it got a second season. I kind of wanted to have a second season, actually, just so we find out what happens next. Does she find other friends? Does Kai, come back to her and be friends with her again? That's what I want to know. Does Kai become her friend again? Oh, that would be... I need a second season now. I need a second season. And I think if we did get a second season, my impressions of the show as a whole would go up again as well. So I do think Hitoribocchi as a show is kind of like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it, and that's fine. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Personally, I would give this around about a 7 out of 10. Just because I did enjoy it. It wasn't the best show of the season, but it wasn't the worst show of the season either. It was a good show, it was a solid watch, and it is really rewatchable. I would watch it again, no problem. Even though I know what happens and who the characters are, I would definitely watch it again. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who, like I said, likes Kino and Mosaic, or people who liked the idea of Watamote but didn't like the delivery of it, for example. People who just want a wholesome anime. There's a lot of people I could definitely recommend this to, and if you haven't checked out Hitoribocchi yet, I suggest you do so now. All you have to do is just log on to Crunchyroll, because it is available there in more or less every region, I believe. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's on Crunchyroll. And let me know what you think of Hitoribocchi down in the comments below. I would love to know your thoughts on it. Anyway, if you really liked this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more weekly content like this every Saturday, and I shall see you guys next week. Goodbye!